to Tyler Totten Live. I'm your host, Tyler Totten, and alongside me is my chief analyst, Travis Totten, and my field reporter, Tyler Stoner. Now, last week we went to Pocono, and Ford got their first win, but it wasn't with a driver any of us said would win. It was Greg Biffle. And now, for this week at Watkins Glen, Carl Edwards is sitting on the pole. So is Jack Roush, is his team getting back on track?
Yes. Yes, he is. Because Carl Edwards, 3 consistent finishes in the top 10, with Greg Biffle having one win. If I had to say, half of the team's doing better. Because then we got Reagan, who's not doing so well, and then Matt Kenseth, where I don't know what happens to him. He must go to the restroom during each pit stop.
And my side, I think we've been at a couple tracks that their FR9 engine's been able to pick up. We saw in qualifying for the Glen this week that the Fords were able to get up through the S's a lot better than any other car, but then in the rest of the track, it was harder for them. And then last week at Pocono, it's 2.5 mile and it's flat. So that's where the Fords are looking hot this year, on flat tracks where you need power.
Okay, and at Pocono, there was a huge wreck involving Kurt Busch and Elliott Sadler. Jimmy Johnson ran into the back of Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch went up the track, hit Clint Bowyer, then he hit the wall, then Bowyer turned him again. But that wasn't the hardest hit. Elliott Sadler got turned by his teammate A.J. Allmendinger, and he hit head-on to the inside wall, and that he recorded the hardest hit in NASCAR history. So what are your comments on that wreck?
Well, they didn't really show the Elliott Sadler crash, but I did see his engine out, and that did seem like a hard hit. I'm surprised he came out there alive as he did, and it was a beast of a hit, I thought.
Yeah, the previous record for the hardest hit was 80 G's, which is 80 times the force of gravity. And this hit was harder than that. They haven't released the number, but still, being more than 80 times the force of gravity is a pretty beastly hit there. And so, he is lucky to come out. He was lucky to come out unscathed like he was. Lucky to be alive, but lucky to not be hurt at all.
Mm-hmm. And the rain was on the way. That was on everyone's mind the whole race long. But there, close to the end, when everyone thought the race was going to be canceled because of rain, Sam Hornish Jr. almost won that race. What was going through your mind when Sam Hornish almost won that race because of rain?
Well, for me, I don't know. I haven't seen anything out of Sam Hornish except for a couple times that shown that he's even capable of winning a race without rain. So for me, if he would have won the race due to rain, I would have been kind of upset. Now, y'all will go back to the Joey thing at New Hampshire last year, but he's proven throughout his career he could consistently be in the top 10, top 5. Sam Hornish is always in the back, so I would have kind of been upset with that.
All right. Well, this week we're going to Watkins Glen, and Tony Stewart has finished first or second in the past 6 Watkins Glen races. He can basically be considered one of those road course ringers we hear about. But Marcos Ambrose has been looking for his first Cup win, and I really think he could get it this weekend. What are your thoughts?
I doubt it, because in Infineon this year, I don't know what happened to him. He couldn't shift right, and then last year, he's good in the nationwide, and he may have a chance this coming up in Watkins Glen. He may have a chance, but if he ain't consistent throughout the race, he's consistent, but if he, towards the end, he needs to pull through and get the win.
Yeah. Juan Pablo actually looked decent in qualifying. Marcos didn't. It didn't look like he had the car. He's on the pole for the nationwide race this weekend, but it didn't look like he had the car in Cup qualifying, and he didn't really register up real high in practice. So I don't think he'll be able to get it done this weekend.
All right. And at Watkins Glen, they've replaced some of the gravel pits with pavement, so the drivers can actually go in harder to the turns, so they can come out and hit that pavement now. So how do you guys think that's going to affect the racing?
I think they can go a little bit harder now, because knowing that you can run off and not get trapped in the gravel pit, or it's going to allow them to run harder, because we've seen it there in qualifying and practice. They're taking up all that new pavement that they can.
Well, now it's time for the fantasy points, and you can see the points up on your screen. Travis is still in the lead with 3,038 points. Mom is in second, behind by 79. Roberto is in third, behind by 317. I am in fourth, behind by 425. And Stoner is in last, behind by 507. So, obviously, since this is my show, I get to pick first. And I'm going to go with Tony Stewart. In the past 6 races, finished first or second in all of those. So he's very consistent, top 5 finisher here at this track. I think he's going to get me a lot of points.
Okay, well, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say David Reagan. I'm totally kidding. I'm going with Kevin Harvick, guys. Kevin Harvick, once again.
Good for you, man. That's the only driver I guess you know. So, well, Kyle, no, definitely not. He's stupid. No, I'm kidding, of course. Don't kill me, Kyle. I'm going to go with, not Jimmy, not this week. I think Gordon. Gordon's good here, so I'm going to go with Gordon, Jeff Gordon.
All right, thanks for watching YouTube. Be sure to watch next week's episode.